Morning, the lecture on psychrometrics. The expression 0.622 PV by PV minus PV is used for calculating relative humidity, humidity ratio, degree of saturation, pressure of water vapor. So this expression is used to express humidity ratio. The important terms used in psychrometry are: first one, dry air. Dry air is a mechanical mixture of gases. Okay, dry air is a mechanical mixture of different gases like argon, neon, oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, argon, neon, krypton, helium. The major occupants are nitrogen and oxygen. Nitrogen, dry air contains 21% oxygen and 79% nitrogen by volume, and 23% oxygen, 77% nitrogen by mass. Second one, moist air. If the dry air is containing water vapor, it is said to be moist air. Saturated air. The moist air contains the maximum amount of water vapor it can hold. It is said to be saturated air. So the moist air can contain a particular percentage of water vapor. If it contains that maximum amount, that is called as saturated air. Relative humidity. The ratio of partial pressure of water vapor to partial pressure of saturated water vapor is relative humidity. Okay. Relative humidity is given by the symbol pi. Pi equal to PV by PS. Specific humidity. This is the mass of water vapor to mass of dry air. MV by MA. And this and the equation is derived 0.622 PV by P minus PV. This equation is used to calculate the humidity ratio. It is otherwise called as humidity ratio or specific humidity. W. It is given by the symbol 0.622 PV by P minus PV is called as a humidity ratio. Relative humidity is the ratio of partial pressure of water vapor to partial pressure of saturated water vapor. That is pi. Okay. The degree of saturation is, it is given by the symbol psi. Psi equal to W by Ws. Humidity ratio at the saturated condition. W by humidity ratio at the saturated condition is said to be degree of saturation. Okay, PV is partial pressure of water vapor, so answer is B. Other definitions are dry bulb temperature. Temperature recorded by an ordinary thermometer is dry bulb temperature. Temperature recorded by a thermometer whose bulb is covered with a wet cloth, and if it moves with an velocity of very small velocity of some 5 meter per second, 5 to 10 meter per second, it is said to be wet bulb temperature. Dew point temperature. Temperature at which water vapor starts condensing is called the dew point temperature. The temperature at which dew begins to form is said to be dew point temperature. Dry bulb temperature, it is an ordinary temperature. Wet bulb temperature whose bulb is covered with wet cloth. Dew point temperature, temperature at which dew begins to form is called dew point temperature. Dew point is temperature at which condensation of steam in saturated air will start. The lowest temperature attainable for a mixture of air and steam, dependent on pressure and volume of air. Highest temperature in an air conditioning cycle. So dew point is the temperature at which condensation of steam in saturated air will start. So answer is A. On psychrometric chart, relative humidity lines are horizontal, vertical, straight line, inclined downward, curved. The relative humidity lines are, so in the psychrometric chart, so we will see the psychrometric chart. In the psychrometric chart, relative humidity lines are curved lines. Okay, the option is D. Relative humidity lines are curved lines, so the option is D. Okay. In psychrometric chart, we can see all the definitions. So this is the dry bulb temperature. So the dry bulb temperature line, the horizontal line is said to be this is a dry bulb temperature line, and this is a humidity ratio or specific humidity. It is given by the symbol kg per kg of dry air. Humidity ratio kg per kg of dry air, that is mass of water vapor to mass of air to mass of mass of dry air. Mass of water vapor to mass of dry air is the humidity ratio. Okay, it is given by the symbol kg per kg of dry air. Okay, it is on the vertical line. and they are said to be the relative humidity lines, pi equal to PV by PS, partial pressure of water vapor to partial pressure of saturated water vapor. This is relative humidity lines. So 10%, 20%, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and this is a 100% relative humidity line. And wet bulb temperature, the horizontal lines are the wet bulb temperature lines. So these lines are the wet bulb temperature lines, and the scale is red on the curved line. Okay, this is also the dew point temperature. This 100% relative humidity line, dew point temperature is also measured. Okay, these are all the enthalpy lines. These lines are the enthalpy lines. Okay, these lines are the enthalpy lines. These inclined lines are called the enthalpy lines. Okay, it is given by it is a enthalpy. Okay, these are all the different elements present in the psychrometric chart. During a sensible heating process, okay, sensible heating process in the psychrometric chart, okay, in a psychrometric chart, so psychrometric chart, this is the dry bulb temperature, okay, TD goes on increasing, okay, dry bulb temperature goes on increasing in this direction, okay. So here sensible heating, so this process is called as sensible heating. 1 to 2 is called as sensible heating, okay, because the dry bulb temperature increases, and sensible heating means the relative humidity W kg per kg of dry air remains constant. That is called a sensible heating process. In the sensible heating process, dry bulb temperature increases, okay, relative humidity decreases, wet bulb temperature increases, okay. In the dry bulb temperature increases, first one is correct. Dry bulb temperature increases from here to here, okay. Then relative humidity decreases. Relative humidity lines are, here it is relative humidity, for example it is 80%, and here it may be 50%. Relative humidity decreases. Then wet bulb temperature increases, okay, wet bulb temperature increases. Wet bulb temperature also, so the wet bulb temperature, sorry, these lines are wet bulb temperature lines, so the wet bulb temperature increases, okay. All of the above takes place, so answer is D. The humidity ratio is a mass of water vapor present in 1 meter cube of wet air, 1 meter cube of dry air, 1 kg of wet air, 1 kg of dry air, okay. In a psychrometric chart, the humidity ratio W, this is a W humidity ratio or specific humidity, it is by kg of water vapor per kg of dry air, kg of dry air, okay, kg per kg of dry air, kg of water vapor by kg of dry air. So mass of water vapor kg divided by kg of dry air, 1 kg of dry air. So option D is correct. The process generally used with the summer air conditioning is, okay, in summer air conditioning the process generally used is the psychrometric chart, that is cooling with the dehumidification. In summer, okay, the temperature must be reduced, and in the summer humidity will be more, okay, because of more amount of evaporation from outside water, that humidity will be more, okay. Humidity is kg per kg of dry air, this will be more. This should be dehumidified. So the process will be like that, 1 to 2, okay. Here it is a cooling process, okay. In that is, here the temperature is, as the temperature, dry bulb temperature is increasing, here temperature decrease as well as humidity, here W1, here W2. W2 is less, it contains less amount of vapor, so this process is called as a cooling and dehumidification process. In summer air conditioning we are using cooling with the dehumidification process. During sensible heating of air, the wet bulb temperature, relative humidity, dry bulb temperature, specific humidity, relative humidity decreases. Already we have discussed, relative humidity decreases for sensible heating of air. Process summer air conditioning to cool and dehumidify the air is called cooling and dehumidification. In summer, already we have studied, it is a summer cooling, we are using cooling and dehumidification process for summer. Winter, heating and humidification process. Okay, sensible heat factor. And the sensible heat factor is nothing but during sensible heating process. So this is a sensible heating process. This is called this is called as okay. This is not applicable for. So for this like this process, and this is called as sensible heat, and this is called as latent heat. Like a cooling and dehumidification or heating and dehumidification process. This is sensible heating. This is called as latent heat. Sensible heat factor equal to sensible heat divided by sensible heat plus latent heat. Okay, sensible heat plus latent heat. So option C is correct. Sensible heat divided by sensible heat plus latent heat. So option C is correct. The process generally used in winter air conditioning is cooling and heating and humidification process. Okay, in psychrometric chart it is a heating process, heating and humidification process. So temperature 1 to 2, temperature increases. Okay, tribal temperature increases as well as humidity increases. So heating and humidification process. This process is called heating and humidification process. Next question. Consider the following statements in respect of an evaporative cooling process. Okay, in evaporative cooling process, wet bulb temperature remains constant, dew point temperature remains constant, enthalpy remains constant. Okay, in the evaporative cooling process, this is called as an evaporative cooling process. Okay, this 1 to 2. Okay, 1 to 2 is called as evaporative cooling process. In this, the enthalpy becomes constant. Okay, this is the enthalpy lines. So along the enthalpy line, this process is carried out. So enthalpy remains constant. So enthalpy remains constant. So enthalpy remains constant. Wet bulb also, these lines are also wet bulb temperature lines. So the horizontal lines are called as dew point temperature lines. Okay, if you are wrongly told, and these lines are called dew point temperature lines. These lines are called wet bulb temperature lines as well as enthalpy lines. So wet bulb temperature also remains constant. So this line is in the psychrometric chart, and this line is called as wet bulb temperature line as well as enthalpy line. So this 1 and 3 are correct. Dew point temperature remains constant. So this is wrong. So 1 and 3 only. Next one. For winter air conditioning, the relative humidity should not be more than 60%, 75%, 40%, and 90%. Should not be more than 40%. Winter air conditioning relative humidity should not be more than 40%. The dry bulb temperature, wet bulb and dew point temperature will be same when the air is completely dry, fully saturated, partially wet at atmospheric pressure. When it is fully saturated, dry bulb, wet bulb and dew point temperature all are same for the saturated air at 100% relative humidity. The difference between wet bulb temperature and dry bulb temperature is called as wet bulb depression, dew point temperature, saturation temperature, adiabatic. It is called as a wet bulb depression. Thank you.